So you're the outsider, huh? You seem nice to me. Just get born, I guess. You're funny. I was born here, silly. Oh, you mean Harold? He's really nice. Sometimes when I get really lonely, I go into the grove and talk to him. Sometimes I even curl up all cozy-like and sleep next to his root after I have a bad dream. I tell him what I'm scared of, and he tells me what he's scared of. It makes me feel better knowing I'm not the only one. Aw, I never knew an outsider could be scared of anything. Harold told me that he's scared of fire. If fire ever got on him, it would burn him and Bob until they were all gone. That's why we keep the fires far away from him. My parents told me never to go past the old gate. There are monsters in there. May the sap of his wisdom sustain.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a drug or something?
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Bloomseer Poplar, soothsayer and healer of Oasis. It brings me great honor to welcome you. I was the third one to arrive here in Oasis. Tree Father Birch was a bit wary at first, but Leaf Mother Laurel convinced him to let me stay. If she hadn't been around, I doubt Birch would have ever let me stay here. After a while, they taught me their ways, and together we developed the ceremony of purification that you undertook. My father was a healer like myself. He had the most curious books I would read about trees and plants and their medicinal properties. Many years later, I heard a rumor about a place such as this. I spent a decade in search of it. I've been in this wonderful place for over 15 years now. He's not my god. He's everyone's god. You, me, everyone. This place isn't meant just for the tree minders. It's for all mankind. Oh, if only Tree Father Birch saw it as you do. Of everyone, he's been here the longest. You'd think he'd realize that this place won't remain a secret forever. The caravans know about it, and you found it. How long before someone comes to take this place by force? No, I say allow this place to grow, and that issue becomes moot. Be wary of the water in the caves. I fear they still carry the sting of radiation from the bombs. In what we call the harvest month, the Great One creates seeds among his branches within seed pods. At the end of this time, the pods open and the seeds are carried quite easily upon the wind. It's quite beautiful. Wherever the seeds take purchase, they grow into trees, plants, grass, or all manner of wonderful things.
Alright, and then there's...
It's very nice to meet you, outsider. I'm Branch Tender Linden. I sort of fell into it, I guess. I woke up here and I just stayed. After a while, I became one of them. I was found dying in the wastes not far from here by a trader caravan. They knew about this place and brought me to Bloomseer Poplar. She nursed me back to health, and I've stayed ever since.
Pretty sure he was like a Brotherhood outcast.
I was a Brotherhood of Steel outcast. We had a deep patrol out here looking for some tech, and they got jumped by some death claws.
Oh, and since this is New Vegas,
they shredded
the
everyone
death
else
claws
and
are
left me
rather
bleeding
powerful.
to death. If it wasn't for Oasis
Still,
and
there's
Bloomseer
no
Poplar, I'd be
Cazadors
dead right
in
now.
the Capital Wasteland.
Honestly,
so.
I've never seen anything like this place. It's beautiful. It's a shame only a few people will ever get to see it. Well, I'm not so sure the Great One is a god. I mean, I don't believe in that sort of thing. However, I am beginning to realize he's special. Something greater than any of the creatures
That
in the
certainly
wasteland.
is true. He's very special.
Oasis is located near what used to be an old mining town before the bombs fell. When the attack started about 200 years ago, many people took shelter in the natural caves that dotted the area. The old gate that stands at the mouth of Oasis Cave is the last piece of architecture from those days. May you remain under the canopy of his protection.
I think there's...
Yes, what can I do for you on this beautiful day? I had to accept the ideals of Tree Father Birch and cast away my dependence on technology.
She says with an assault rifle.
I was brought here by his will. I heard his calling, and I followed. I believe only a few are worthy enough to find this place, and I'm honored to be among them. That's why I dread the day Oasis overgrows its boundaries. I suppose so, but you found it. How many others will stumble across Oasis? Will they be friendly? I'm worried, outsider. I'm truly worried.
I didn't get
He is the Great
XP.
One, the Tree Father of Tree Fathers. There is no greater being in the world than he. I've dedicated my life to protecting this place from the outside world, and I will never fail in that duty. Goodbye.
Cast aside your bits of technology and marvel at his miracles, outsider.
Is this the same lady?
Yes, what can I do?
Yeah.
Revel, outsider.
And I'm
You are
telling
under
you,
his protection.
You've got it all wrong. Why else would he have called for an outsider's assistance?
The outsider is here to deliver us from our enemies, to keep this place safely locked away from the wasteland, not to exploit us.
How can we preach about peace when all you want to do is keep his gift all to ourselves? That's not what he would want.
If we allow the spread of this miracle to continue, we're putting him in jeopardy. I can't allow that. I won't allow it.
Once again, my husband, we are at an impasse. I suggest we speak to the outsider.
Agreed. Why else would the outsider have been allowed into the grove? Perhaps it's a test. Yes, that must be it. I know why you're here, and despite what my wife thinks, I know you'll do what's best for Oasis. After all, he chose you, and he would never want to put us in harm's way. Oh, he's testing you now, just like he tested us. He wants to see if your faith is strong by spinning these incredible
Everybody knows that the
stories.
best religion
Who
in
else
all
but a god
universe is
could produce
homology.
all of this? Don't worry. You'll soon see things as I do. I've had enough of your blasphemy. I've tolerated it this long because you're an outsider, but no more. If you wish to test me again, you'll find yourself banished from Oasis.
I wonder if you can actually get banned.
That's it. You are no longer... If you remain here against my wishes...
By insulting the Tree Father, you've insulted us all. You are no longer a guest
I'm
here.
afraid you're
I'd
no
advise
longer
you to leave
welcome in his
immediately.
home. Please, be gone.
Oh, wow, you can actually...
You big dummy! Now we gotta wait for.
Wow. Okay. That means that there's actual branching dialogue, and it's not all interchangeable.
And I'm telling you, you've got it all wrong.
I didn't even know that you could
Why
do that.
else would he have called for an outsider's assistance?
It's not like in Fallout 4 where
Outsider is
basically
here to deliver
everything
us
is
from our enemies,
yes,
to keep this
yes,
place
but in a
safely locked
sarcastic
away
way,
from the
no, but you're really
wasteland,
saying
not
yes
to
or asking a
exploit us.
question.
How can we preach
Hello,
about
outsider.
peace when
It's
all
very
you
nice
want
to
to
see
do is
you.
keep his gift all to
Shut up.
ourselves? That's not what he would want.
If we allow the spread of this miracle to continue, we're putting him in jeopardy. I can't allow that. I won't allow it.
Once again, my husband, we are at an impasse. I suggest we speak to the outsider.
Agreed. Why else would the outsider have been allowed into the grove? Perhaps it's a test. Yes, that must be it. I know why you're here, and despite what my wife... Oh, he wants to see if your faith is strong by spinning these incredible stories. Who else but a god could produce all of this? Don't worry. You'll soon see things as I do. The Great One does tend to speak in riddles, but if that is his way, then so be it. My talks with him have become quite puzzling of late. I think he's beginning to fear his future. The Great One's influence is growing, and soon it will break free of the confines of this secluded vale. We can't allow Oasis to call attention to itself like that. It would be the end of him. If the same sap that you drank to purify yourself could be applied to his heart, it should stop the spread. I can promise you no harm would come to him. That's all I ask of you, outsider. Nothing more, nothing less.
I love Birch, but sometimes I think he doesn't see the big picture. The spreading of his influence is not a curse. It's a great miracle, a benefit meant for the entire wasteland.
Very true.
Of course we do. He yearns to share his miracles with the whole world, to give the gift of life back to the dead wasteland. It's upsetting him to no end, but Birch can't see the pain it's causing. But now that you're here, I have a feeling the winds are about to change. I heard what my husband wanted you to do. What I propose is an alternative. The same person that created the sap also created this liniment. If you can reach his heart, it will assist him in making his influence increase. Instead of centuries, the wasteland will become green in mere decades. Just imagine how glorious that would be.
Yes, outsider, what is it? Of course. We're quite open about everything here. When I first beheld the glory of the Great One, I knew there'd be others who would seek to do him harm. I also knew he would be calling others that he felt were pure of heart to protect him. Right then and there, I created the Tree Minders, the Great One's last line of defense. If the outsider doesn't have his blessing, we simply deny him entry to our home. If they persist on trying to gain entry, or display any hostile act that could potentially harm the Great One, we take action. If the outsider were a raider or some other nefarious type, we ensure they don't report our location back to their comrades. Becoming a disciple of the Great One takes many years of dedication and the will to cast aside your reliance on technological conveniences. However, I feel you've been sent here for a higher purpose and could be more instrumental in our future than a mere tree minder. The first part of our name represents our role in the tree minders. The youngest are the saplings, still learning what it means to live in Oasis. The branch tenders are our guardians and keep our home safe. Our healers and soothsayers are known as bloom seers. Finally, the tree father and the leaf mother are the creators and the upholders of the Great One's laws. I'm afraid the water still bears the mark of man's greed. It's his reminder of what we once were. Perhaps one day he will see fit to lift this punishment, but I fear we have yet to command his full respect. By all means, ask away. I would if I was able, but he will not allow us entry. His roots bar the door, and we have yet to earn the right to pass. Of course I am. I know everything that goes on in Oasis. Laurel is free to pursue whatever path she chooses. A long time ago, it was agreed that the Tree Father and the Leaf Mother hold equal say. I don't seek to change those customs. I just hope when the time comes, you'll make the right choice. Bloomseer Poplar has a unique understanding of the innate power that lay dormant in the plants you see around you. She created the sap with the knowledge she brought to us from the wasteland. You'll find the entrance in the southwestern part of Oasis. Go on. Just like a cancer would infest our bodies, the caves below us are infested with vermin. You'd do well to be cautious down there. We've lost a few tree minders in the past. Have no...
Yeah, there's lurks down there.
You have questions for me, outsider? Please, go right ahead. I'm afraid I can take none of the credit for my husband's creation. I arrived perhaps a year after him, well after he established the tree minders. Without his blessing, we would not allow an outsider inside this veil. Although we would welcome you with open arms, you are obviously drawn here to help us. What remains to be seen is what that help turns out to be. Yes? Certainly. Please ask them. The Great One has not yet allowed us entry below ground. We were uncertain as to why until you arrived. The liniment was made by Bloomseer Poplar. Her knowledge... If the Great One knows you to be worthy of his grace, he will allow you to pass through to his heart. May you...
Hiya! They're the best parents ever.
They're like so old though.
Branch Tender Cypress at your service. Welcome to our little home. Actually, you already did some of it. I had to do the ceremony and meet with the Great One. Then Tree Father Birch taught me everything I needed to know about Oasis and how it has to remain a secret. That's why I'm so worried. I just think letting this place spread into the wasteland would be an unwise decision. That would worry me. I was out there once, like you. I wandered the wasteland for many years. All I saw was poverty, famine, sickness, hate, and death everywhere I turned. But this place isn't anything like that. We can't allow that kind of evil inside Oasis. We just can't. Like I said, I wish they wouldn't argue so much. It makes everyone uncomfortable. I was an outsider like yourself, wandering the world aimlessly, wasting my life trying to seek my fortune. When my eyes beheld the splendor of Oasis, I knew I'd found a holy place. Tree Father Birch allowed me to stay, and I've been here ever since. Sure. Here you go. Good luck to you. May your...
I'm gonna...
Hello, outsider. It's very nice to see you. Yes, what can I do for you? I think this place would be lost if it weren't for them. There's no telling what fate may have befallen the Great One if someone like the godless raiders had gotten here first. Goodbye, outsider.
I feel actually if raiders got here, they would just think that they were on drugs and just be more confused than anything.
Oh, you have more questions for me, perhaps? Lately, things have gotten a bit worse between them. It sometimes takes months for them to agree on things. I know they love each other greatly, but I'm afraid the strain of leadership is tearing them apart.
So is that like a special combat knife? And there's this guy.
Good to speak to you again. I've only known them for a very short time, but when I first arrived, they immediately took me in and treated me just like a son. There aren't many people in the world left like that.
There's nowhere like this left in the world anymore. Oh, outsider?
I think that's supposed to be like from Tranquility Lane. Which is probably why the texture for that, like that watering pot, is so clean compared to how it probably should be, all tarnished and rusty.
There's no air like this left in the world anymore, eh, outsider?
I wonder if you can go talk to Harold again. It's like locked. Or no.
Look, her. No, don't get me started on them. I'm liable to talk about them all day. It even drives poor old Bob crazy. They won't listen to me at all. If I tell them something simple, then it gets done. Otherwise, Birch spends a week looking for a hidden meaning. Plus, he just pops in whenever he wants and starts chanting this nonsense. Sometimes I just sit there silently just to make him mad. That was fun for a while, but even that's getting boring now. Oh, you wouldn't believe how they handle them. They make them drink this gunk that Poplar makes. Sometimes they just go nuts, start running around, and sometimes when they wake up and see me, they run for the hills. I'll tell you, outsiders are almost as entertaining as the tree minders. Actually, the kid is the nicest one of all. Use her name. She sneaks in here sometimes and just lets me talk about stuff I wanna talk about. Bob really likes her too, 'cause she makes me happy. Okay, let me talk real careful for the slow folks. I was once a man.
Never mind, I don't have 1 intelligence.